So it's last Wednesday, and I'm putting together my meal plan, and I ceremoniously asked Lauren the same question every week. Babe, what do you want to eat next week? She says the same thing every time. The first thing is shrimp, because Lauren loves shrimp. Second thing, pasta alla vodka. Vodka sauce is something I didn't even know about 6 years ago, and now I can't live without it. It's deep in the rotation at my house. It's an extremely simple, very easy to put together pasta dish that's basically cream, tomato paste, and Parmesan on top of some dried pasta. This has become my go-to move when I want people to think I'm really good at cooking. I would equate this to going to a party, picking up that acoustic guitar that's in the corner and just like effortlessly busting out the first few bars of Blackbird, and everybody's like, bro, I didn't know you're such a good guitar player. And then you're all like, oh yeah, no big deal. It's just something I know how to do. So pasta alla vodka is too easy and too delicious to not be in your repertoire. If you haven't made it, now is the time. I'm gonna show you how. Let's get into it. For this recipe, you're gonna need 1 pound of dried fusilli, 350 grams or 1 cup heavy cream, 100 grams or a half cup Parmesan, 100 grams or 2 little BB bottles of vodka, 100 grams or a half cup tomato paste, basically a whole baby can, 45 grams or a half cup olive oil, 2 grams or 1 teaspoon chili flake, 60 grams or a quarter red onion, 3 tablespoons butter, and 4 garlic cloves. To start our pasta, we need to do a little bit of prep. We're gonna start with some knife work. We're gonna medium dice a red onion. Then we're gonna slice 4 cloves of garlic. Just a crosswise, nothing too specific here. I like to keep these a little bit more rustic so we can get pops of onion, pops of garlic in our pasta. To the critics out there, I agree. Pasta vodka from the outside in seems pretty dumb. It's just heavy cream and tomato paste. But I can say for sure that there's something else going on here that makes it really special. It's hard to describe what it actually tastes like. It is like a creamy tomato pasta, but there's also like a super savory aromatic sharpness to it that I also can't describe. It's spicy, it's warm from the onions and garlic, it's a little bit sweet. It actually has a good amount of acid because of all of the tomato products. And you really just have to taste it to get it. I stumbled across a recipe for it in a magazine on a plane a bunch of years ago, and I was like, oh, that looks kind of stupid, but I tried it, and it was crazy. I was really surprised. I'm also gonna grate my Parmesan on the finest side of my box grater. I kind of want Parmesan dust. I want something that's gonna dissolve into the sauce, but also sit on top and provide unique little granules of Parmesan. To start our sauce, we're gonna assemble everything we need by our Dutch oven. We're gonna heat that up over medium-high and add in our olive oil. Once we're preheated, we're gonna add in our onions and saute 3 to 4 minutes on high until starting to look like this. At this point, we're gonna add in our chili flake and bloom this in the oil. We're gonna stir it up and let that fry for about 30 seconds before we add in our garlic. So what are the details we need to hit to make you a pasta vodka legend in your own house? The first thing is pasta. If you can find 100% semolina, bronze cut pasta, that would be best case scenario. Fresh extruded pasta works really well too. I'm using a fresh extruded fusilli. Penne is a shape that a lot of people use for pasta alla vodka, and if you like that shape, totally go for it. It'll work just fine. It's just not my favorite. I prefer fusilli. The second thing we want to pay attention to here is balance. I'm using more tomato paste and more vodka than you'll see in a lot of recipes. I want to make sure we're boosting the acid in the sauce so that we can counteract the fat in that 1 cup of heavy cream. Doubling down on the vodka too really helps us sort of build on that umami, fruity quality of the tomato. Making sure that we're not overcooking the vodka in the sauce also helps us sort of maintain a sharpness to it. So one more thing, I'm using Parmigiano Reggiano here. The 18-month imported stuff, dog. If you got the good stuff, use that. So I'm gonna check back on my aromatics and we're starting to take on a little bit of color. The oil's starting to get red and perfumed from the chili flake, and I'm gonna add some Calabrian chilies. I really tried to leave these out, I did, but I just can't. They're my absolute favorite. I know a lot of you guys out there don't have them and you can't get them. If you got them and you like Calabrian chilies, throw them in there. They're delicious. They bring a little bit of funky, fruity sweetness to the table, and I just couldn't do it. I just couldn't leave them out. I tried. At this point, we're gonna add our tomato paste and fry it for a few seconds to get a little bit of an amber color and to start blooming it. Straight out of the can, tomato paste can taste a little bit ketchupy, a little bit like cafeteria food. So we're gonna fry it in this oil to bloom it out a little bit. Makes it just a little bit more delicious, a little bit more robust. Once we've woken up and fried our tomato paste, we're gonna deglaze with our vodka. We're gonna cook that off for about 15 seconds or until it's evaporated. So I scoured the internet to find the answer to the question, why vodka? Basically, the alcohol in the vodka combines with the tomato and some sort of fruity aromatic esters flavors are produced that aren't there otherwise. The way I look at it is it makes things a little bit more aromatic, and it brings a little bit of a sharp X factor to it that you just can't put your finger on. I've made it without, it's not as good. Gotta have vodka. Maybe that's hocus pocus, I can't say for sure, but I'm not making it without it. At this point, we're gonna add in our cream and bring it to a simmer. We're looking to cook this for about 4 to 5 minutes to finish this sauce. We just want to take the raw edge off the vodka and make sure that the garlic and onions are all the way tender. At this point, taste the sauce. If it needs a little bit of salt, we're going to do that to taste, usually about a teaspoon at this point. If the sauce tastes good, we can either use it right away or set it aside, cool it down, and use it at a later time. We're going to go right away, so I'm going to bring 4 quarts of water in a large pot to a boil, and once it's boiling, I'm going to season it generously with salt, probably about 2 to 3 tablespoons. Once we're up to a simmer, I'm going to drop my pasta. I'm only using 8 ounces of pasta here because it's just Lauren and I for dinner. The recipe calls for 1 pound and it makes 4 portions. While I'm cooking the pasta, I'm going to start slowly warming up a large non-stick saute pan to my left, and then I'm going to toss in about 1 cup of pasta water and half of my vodka sauce and bring that to a simmer. Fresh extruded pasta only takes about 4 minutes to cook, so I'm going to taste a piece here, just trying to get it to the al dente texture. So let's talk about al dente. I feel like it's something that a lot of food media has kind of scared people into doing to their pasta. They got people convinced that pasta is really hard to cook and that they've been overcooking it for years, and maybe they're overreacting and habitually undercooking their pasta now. The way I see it is pasta with a little bit of texture is good. Pasta with no texture is bad. Cook it to about 95% of where you think it's perfect. We're gonna finish it in the sauce a little bit, and that will take it to 100%. Once we got the pasta cooked to where we like it, we're gonna drain it off and save a half cup of the cooking liquid. The pasta is gonna go right into our saucepan, and we're gonna cut in our butter. We're gonna let that soften for just a second, and then we're gonna give it a toss to emulsify. At this point, we're gonna add our additional half cup of water and continue to toss. We're gonna taste the pasta, season it with salt if you think it needs a little bit of help, and then we're gonna turn it off the heat. I'm gonna add about 1/3 of my Parmesan cheese and toss once more and taste it again. It's time to serve. We got a lot of choices for garnish. We can go chili oil, Parmesan, black pepper, chili flake, basil. It's up to you, but I say Parmesan and basil are essential. So that's it. We've got some delicious tasting pasta. We're gonna plate it up. That's vodka sauce. It really is that easy. Let's check it out. Somehow with all this fat, it still has plenty of acid. It's very bright. Mild heat. I mean, who doesn't love creamy pasta? It's one of those things that's like kind of embarrassing to admit, but creamy pasta is awesome.
It's so good. Oh, shit.
So clearly Lauren loves this pasta, and I love it too. It's incredibly easy to make, and people are gonna think you're very good at cooking if you make it for them. There's a lot of flavor packed into something that basically comes out of your pantry. If you're getting a lot of value out of this content, a good way to support us is to subscribe. It lets YouTube know that Weeds and Sardines is an up and coming, cutting edge, on trend, culinary powerhouse that it should promote. As always, please tell a friend. Thank you for sticking around. Thank you for your time and attention, and we'll see you next time.